Happy to be joined on this edition of Catching Up with Ethan Lindow, 2019 BlueClaws pitcher. He joins us now from Locust Grove, Georgia. Ethan, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you. How's everything going? How have you been staying busy during the quarantine?
I've just been playing a lot of golf, working out, staying in shape, just hanging out with friends, enjoying some time on the lake because down here in Georgia, the weather's pretty nice right now.
Yeah, and you guys are under less restrictions than I guess a lot of other places in the country.
As of now, yes, we opened up, I think, last week.
What about baseball stuff?
Just staying in shape. I throw every day, work out. Right now we're at 2 bullpens a week, trying to get ready. Hopefully we're closer to the end than the beginning of this. So
yeah,
just staying in shape. Listen, we keep in touch with all the pitching coaches and strength coaches, so they keep us honest.
Do you have a guy who catches for you? You throw him to the wall. How do you throw your pins?
I don't really have a set catcher. I kind of get whoever can catch me that day. Sometimes it's someone I know, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I brought them, etc. So. How
often are the Phillies in touch?
Just about every day through the week. Either a pitching coach, strength coach, someone like that, or trainer asking you questions, how you doing, staying healthy, that type of thing.
How was your spring progressing?
Spring was really good. We got cut after our first game. I think we threw in, and feeling good. The ramp up, the vibes felt good in spring training. I felt like I was ready to go into the season strong.
So this was a big off season for you. You had finished last year with Clearwater. Started with the BlueClaws pitch really well. Got promoted. What kind of things did they have you working on in the off season leading into what was going to be an important 2020?
Really just maintaining what I did. My sequencing was really good. Starting to, learn how to sequence pitches off of each other, and then we were working on my curveball, really nailing that down in the middle of spring, going into the season. Something I was working on, and right now just keeping that, trying to make sure I don't lose what I was working on. The spin rate, how hard I'm throwing it, that type of thing. Really more of just like a mental change.
You worked with Matt Hockenberry with Lakewood last year, and then Brad, right? Bergeson was in
Clearwater, yes.
In Clearwater for you. How did you sync up with Brad, and has he been the primary guy that you've spoken to in the offseason?
Yeah, I left Hockenberry. He was awesome. I went to Berge in Clearwater. He was real, he was cool too. We really bonded, and he was helping me with that curveball, trying to throw it harder. Really he broke down the mental part of the game for me real well, and just, how to sequence pitches, stuff like that.
Was this spring training any different stuff that the Phillies were doing down there compared to previous ones?
Not so much. I honestly think it's, a lot better with, the vibe down there. Everything's kind of more relaxed. It seems a little more fun when it was always seemed to be a little bit tense, everyone trying to fight for a spot. So I think the Phillies did a good job of keeping it, fun, but also making us work hard and get after it.
So last year with the BlueClaws, you were there for most of the year through July. What did you learn most? How do you think you got better from April through July?
The BlueClaws, we did the piggyback system. So that right there taught me how to throw out of the bullpen and kind of get two different mental aspects of the game from coming in from the front to the back, which is really good. And Hockenberry helped out a lot with that. We, nailed down my cutter. I know that was a really big thing at the beginning of the season with Matt. So we nailed that down. And from there on out, I just learned how to sequence pitches better, learn from the batters in the league, and just kind of progressed.
I remember you were the guest on the pregame show on July 4th in Greensboro. You had pitched in Lakewood on July 3rd. There was a big crowd. Manuel Silva started. He threw 5 shutout innings. You came in and threw the last 4. And I remember you talking about how much fun it was, and you weren't really sure what to expect when the year started, but how much fun it was that you had to close a game because you had been a starter for your whole life. Yeah,
that was probably the best moment of probably the season was when I came in and got my first save. We were at home, I believe. We had, a packed out house, and, you get down with 2 strikes, 2 outs, everyone starts to get on their feet and yell. I mean, there's no adrenaline, no type of feeling like that.
Ethan Lindow is with us, 2019 BlueClaw. Remember, dental savings are made simple with Choosy. The free, easy-to-use app saves you an average of 24% at the dentist with or without insurance. Save more, smile more, and learn more at grandslamsavings.com. So you leave Lakewood, you go to Clearwater. What was the biggest challenge, that was most noticeable for you about dealing with the hitters that were a level ahead in the Florida State League?
The Florida State League, there wasn't much of a change from the batters. I know there was a lot older guys, so they were a lot more disciplined at the plate. My biggest notice was with 2 strikes, guys were harder to get out. You can't leave a pitch just in the bottom of the zone. You got to really get it down on the plate, that type of deal. Whatever you're trying to throw with 2 strikes, you need to do it right. Throw it right.
Yeah, that's a lesson that they're going to tell you, but you got to learn it the hard way at some point, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I went into my first game, everything seemed good at one point, and then it was like every two strike count, it was just, either a hit or a ground. Like, it was so hard to punch guys out, I guess I'm saying.
Yeah.
Get the strike
for sure.
out.
For sure. What goals did you set for yourself going into 2020?
Just to keep the same strike percentage. It's something that I really take pride in, is my strike percentage, be able to throw the amount of strikes I do. And then what was that?
No, go ahead.
Just to keep my ERA down, and the whip was one thing that was really good for me this year. So just maintaining the same thing with trying to get a little better.
Yeah, you were talking about, strike percentage, you were talking spin rate before. How advanced with the statistics do a strike percentage, not that advanced, but spin rate. How advanced do the Phillies get with you regarding some of your numbers as you look at them between starts and looking back at the whole year?
Yeah, I guess, it kind of goes into my scouting report usually with the teams before I throw. I kind of watch my last starts or starts that I compare to this team or previous starts with the same team. I look at kind of how I face certain batters, who's going to be in the lineup. And then we usually take what I throw in the bullpen the week before. I know we did this with Bergie a few times, and we look at what my strengths were, and maybe those might carry on to the next day, just trying to see what's working. So it's easier to become a more consistent pitcher, trying to learn what works for you.
When you were growing up, left-handed pitcher at Georgia, you had talked a lot about Tom Glavine when we had spoken at times last year. Tell us about your interactions with him when you were growing up and as a high school player.
Yeah, so I first met him when I was playing in, I think, my second travel ball team or travel ball tournament with a new team. And I knew his son was on there, Peyton. So we were, talking all the time. We're hanging out in the dugout. And I'm going into pitch, and some guys, helping me throw in the bullpen. He's like telling me a little thing, something like that. I'm clueless who he is. He's got a hat on, glasses. And, I get to go in the game, and I go in after I ask the guys, I'm sitting down, the same people. I go, who's that guy that was in there helping me out? And they were like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, that's Tom Glavine. And I was like, are you really? So it's always been a cool story that, I've always, get crap from everybody for not knowing who he was.
Did you work with him after that?
Yeah. So whenever, his son was there and, we were pitching, whenever I was in the bullpen, he'd always come down and help, whenever day it was. Usually me and his son pitched on the same days, or close to each other.
Close, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But besides that, it was just whenever he was there, he was helping me out. So I'm super grateful for him in that.
How close were you to not signing and going to playing college?
I really wanted to play college ball. I know, school was something that my parents were writing me about, and something that I wanted, that degree, because you never know, as a backup plan. And, sure. But I was excited for UAB. It was a great campus. I loved the people there. I had a good time. And basically, I got lucky enough to, be seen and lucky enough to be drafted. And, it was a dream come true, something I've always wanted to do. So I took it and ran.
And now heading into what will be your, second full season, third overall season with the Phillies. We're talking with Ethan Lindow. Remember, everyone scores savings with Choosy Dental, the free, easy-to-use app that gets you dental savings for everyone in your family, with or without insurance. Save more, smile more. Visit Choosy at grandslamsavings.com. When do you think you'll be able to get back out on a mound, hopefully?
The rumors are, mid-June, something like that. So I'm hoping to at least be down there. I don't know what the plan is for the minor leaguers, but, I want to get down in Florida somewhere throwing a baseball competitively. I know that.
you hadn't started minor league games yet, right? When I think it was supposed to be the right after the quarantine began.
Hmm. Yeah, so we had just started games in spring training. I think, exactly halfway through spring training, if I had to guess.
But were you playing inter squad games or games against the other teams?
So we faced the Canada national team. I was right. We played them. So that was our first game, and I think that was the only game. And then
Yeah.
we're home.
Did you pitch?
Yes, I threw second after Morales.
How'd you do?
It was pretty good. I think I had one hit and then striked out the side.
There you go. Well, again, good start. Now,
Yeah.
now you're gonna have a couple month layoff. But Ethan, we appreciate a few minutes. Stay safe. You know, how's the golf game?
The golf game is pretty good. It's funny you ask. Everyone that contacts me is always asking about my golf game because I'm a pretty avid golfer. It's hilarious.
Did you get to play in spring training?
Oh yeah, we played every day we were able to. Before that, I was there a couple months early and I played every day, so I tried to maintain at least the range or something like that.
Who is the best Phillies minor leaguer at golfing?
Oh, I have no idea. I've only played with a few. I would say probably the best that I usually play with maybe Ivanko and Tyler McKay.
Okay.
Hmm. Those are the only people I've golfed with, and they're pretty good.
At least you get a nice competitive game. And with Ivanko, you get two lefties.
Yep. Well, I swing right. So.
Oh, you swing righty. Okay, I did not know that.
Yep.
How'd you start swinging right-handed?
I have no idea. All I know is I grew up hitting right-handed. I play golf right-handed. I do a lot of things right-handed, so I'm kind of ambidextrous in a way, but for the most part, I am left-handed.
You made the right decision throwing left-handed, though.
Absolutely.
That's a big win.
I was actually not able to hit as much in high school because my coach was always worried someone was going to throw at me and hit my elbow.
Yeah. Ethan, we thank you for a few minutes. Stay safe. Good luck, and hopefully we'll get you see you back out on the mound here pretty soon. Have a great summer.
Yep, you too. Thank you so much for having me.